I'm all, we can't do business anymore like this. We're supposed to be a partnership. You're supposed to be our manager. And I'm all, I give him the paper again for the trademark. Now, keep in mind, this is going on 5 years with this bullshit. I'm all, dude, sign this paper. This thing's fucking over. And the money you took out of the company, you need to put back and make it right. Do you understand that you can't take money out of this partnership without my authorization? Just like I can't go take money out of the partnership without your authorization.
Hey guys, so this is going to be part 2B, a continuation off the last video. So we are still going to hear, where are the fucking books? Because there's a lot to this. Last video was kind of long, and I'm going to be making another one here with more of this information, more on the side, because there are a lot of times that this is brought up, and you know, you want to hear it as many different ways as possible to see what the consistencies are with it. And I think that it's important that it isn't rushed through, because there's a lot of stuff. This is going to be such a long series that these 2 videos here are not even going to be really that much of, like, it's just going to be 2 videos out of a whole ton. So there's a lot more information besides just this book part. And it's not, I just don't want to rush it and skip things and be like, oh man, I should have put that in there because this is something that we should have heard. So that's why we're doing a part 2 here. There's going to be a little bit of information here again about the books, and we're going to listen to it. And if you guys like it, please make sure that you guys, you know, like or dislike it, and just let me know you guys are there and you're watching it and you want a part 3, because part 3 is obviously going to be beyond the books. It's going to be the next step, next things that we have to talk about in regards to Kottonmouth Kings, and just, you know, a tribute to their legacy and their greatness, and just more information about them. And I'm going to splice all that stuff together. You know, old stuff and new stuff is all going to come together so that we can compare what they said then and now and where we're at, which is kind of like why I wanted to put in last video, you know, how they kind of started and how they felt like they all came together, and who thinks what happened in regards to how this whole thing began. Because we're starting to hear the story now, which is kind of the truth, and I say that with air quotes, because we also have what they said back when they were big, back when things were going good, and what they thought had happened. And it's 2 different things. When things are going good, everybody's a part of it. When things are going bad, one person did all the work, and it's usually the person that's talking. So we want to try to figure all that stuff out and continue on. So if you do want a part 3, make sure you let me know you want a part 3 and you want to keep seeing stuff like this. But like I said, I don't want to rush through this. So hopefully you guys understand that this is part 2B. It's a continuation off the last video. And here we go. Let's get into it.
In 2001, Kottonmouth Kings manager at the time and part owner of SRH, Kevin Zinger, approached me about running the day-to-day, and in return, I'd give him half of the company, bring him in, and he'd run the day-to-day so I could, you know, tour and produce records and do what I do, and he'd look out for my best interests. So for free, I gave him half of the company. You know, I did this with good intentions because he is my manager and he's going to look out for my best interests.
Well, one was really like we owned a record label together, and I felt like, you know, I was doing 99% of the work with the other bands that were signed to the label, you know what I mean?
Okay,
and like, you know, I was in there, you know, I mean, Brad probably came in the office twice a year, you know what I mean? So I was in there grinding.
In return, Ryan White and Kevin Zinger, owners of SRH, because SRH started blowing up as Kottonmouth Kings were blowing up, issued the members of the Kottonmouth Kings shares in their company. They gave us stock certificates and ownerships in SRH. And that was the shit. That was a righteous thing to do. We took pride of ownership. We put it on everything. Every record, every sub-noise product. SRH, the spade is everywhere. People, you know,
think we own it. We think we own part of it because we were told by our manager and our brother and our friend that we own part of the company. Well, it turns out, fast forward to 2008, we start questioning, well, what's up? You know, SRH is blowing up. Things are getting bigger. What's going on? I thought we owned part of the company. Well, the answer we get is, you guys, we give you guys T-shirts and it's all good. It's just a wash, you know. So that creates a little tension within the band members. Then we find out that our trademark and domains have been transferred by our manager from the Kottonmouth Kings to Kevin Zinger. Kottonmouthkings.com, the Kottonmouth Kings trademark, Kottonmouth Kings YouTube is now in Kevin Zinger's personal name. I address him on this. Hey, this is not cool. This is Kottonmouth Kings property. Please return it. You're our manager. Why would you put it in your name? Well, I get the runaround. It took me 2 years to get Kottonmouthkings.com transferred back over to the Kottonmouth Kings, and that was a long, ugly battle. And the trademark, I thought he had transferred back multiple times, going back to 2007. I thought we'd handle it, and it kept coming up that no, it's still in Kevin's name. So I went to his house. Around 2010, I went to his house.
Really intense time with the band. You know, things have been going on behind the scenes with the band where, let's just say, the business wasn't right, and I own the label that put out our records along with the other artists, you know, so it was my business to make sure that business was being ran properly, and money was going to the right places, and basically I got blocked out of, and I was taken off all the bank accounts, not allowed access to any of the books, and whatever. I went the legal route. We wound up getting all our masters back, so we started this new label, and Crown Power is the first release on the new label. We have our whole catalog back. We own it 100% outright, and so that was a huge. It's really about perseverance. It put a lot of pressure on the band members because literally our money, what we did for a living, our income had been cut off. Literally,
the pipeline had been
has been stolen.
Turned off.
Turned off. All your money's been stolen. All your publishing has been stolen. Everything. You know what I mean? So, obviously in life, I've learned a great lesson about allowing someone to be in the position to you know, ultimately I'm responsible for getting taken advantage of, leaving my car unlocked, you know. But, it's a good lesson, but it also really made us focus on what is important to us, and that's the music, doing what we do, and no one can stop that. You can't steal that. You can't steal the creativity or the passion that goes into making the records. And at the end of the day, we're here to do music, you know, and do shows, bring people together, and that's what we're doing. And some people, you know, it's the ones that are really committed to the cause and are still down and doing it for the right reason are in the group. You know.
Well, definitely separates the men from the boys, man. When the going gets tough, you know who really got your back.
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's unfortunate, but it's a great, you know, like a great body of work, and we're launching a label with some great artists, and really it's too much bullshit was coming into the equation. Too much shit was not right. And I didn't want my name being attached to that, you know. I really take a lot of pride in at least doing as honest a business as I can do.
To make a long story short, as Kottonmouth Kings started blowing up, SRH Clothing was Kevin's company, and he said, listen, why don't we merge everything into one? I'll come up, run the day-to-day to Suburban Noise Records. You make me a partner in the label, and I'll kind of run the day-to-day, and we'll give you guys ownership in SRH. So they issued a stock certificate, you know, saying that we own so many shares in SRH, and cool, that's all good, you know, all for one for all, you know what I mean? It felt like it was a good move, and you know, it's cool to have ownership in a clothing company and have the label going. It's a little weird when your manager's your label, but at that time, we were all working for a common cause, and felt like we were all on the same team in a very unified front, you know. So as we started to grow as a label, we started acquiring acts and putting out different groups, and the label grew, and the label grew, and Kottonmouth Kings grew, SRH grew, and, you know, things magnified, and somewhere in the mid-2000, I don't know, 2007, 2008, you know, we toured heavy and hard, you know. SRH was really blowing up, and we had like a band meeting, like, hey, so we own part of the company, but we never been paid anything, you know. Like, what's up with you know, you guys are making millions of dollars, and we're supposed to own part of this company, so what's up, right? I mean, it's not necessarily about the money, but when there's money rolling in, we expect it to be distributed around properly and in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So no money got distributed, you know. They're, oh, well, we're just paying your, you know, we'll pay your taxes. And keep in mind, as my partner now at the label, and then so I started finding out some funny business, like when we were on the road, our domains and our trademarks came up to get registered, and he registered the domains and trademarks in his own personal name. So I came back and I found out about it, and I said, hey, Kevin, what the fuck? Ma, why'd you put our trademark and our domain in your personal name? Like, that needs to be in the Kottonmouth Kings name. That's our domain. That's our trademark, you know. You're a fucking manager. What do you mean you put it in your name? Oh, no, you guys were on the road. I just didn't want it to lapse, so, you know, I just put in my name just to, you know, make sure it didn't expire, you know. Just, I'll transfer it back, no problem. Cool. Okay, well, let's transfer that back. Boom, give him the paperwork, blah, blah, blah. Tells me he transferred it back. Come to find out 2 years later, he never transferred it back.
Okay.
SRH isn't paying any money, right? So now we're in 2010, and I'm like, wait a minute. D-Loc, as you know, there's probably a time period where you realize D-Loc started wearing like Hostility and some other brands. Well, the reason that was is because the band, D-Loc, said, listen, what's up? SRH isn't paying us anything? Like, I thought we owned part of this company, and you're our manager. And like I said, it's not about the money. It's about the principle. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So now it becomes personal. And D-Loc said, listen, well, and Kevin says, well, SRH, we're not going to give you guys any money. And that kind of rubbed the band the wrong way. Like, what? We've been blowing you up. Your logo's on everything, and you don't want to give us any money, and we own shares. Supposedly, they turn out to be junk bonds. It's called securities fraud. It's actually a federal crime to issue people fake, bogus stock certificates, you know. So this is our manager, so we start to you know, there's some behind the scenes, some bad feelings going down, you know.
So I went to his house. In around 2010, I went to his house. Dude, you have to sign the Kottonmouth Kings trademark back over to the Kottonmouth Kings. It's our trademark. Like, why? It's not supposed to be in your personal name. And so he's all, no problem. I'll handle it. I bring the form. It comes with a $10 check. So he even goes and cashes the $10 check to make it look like he did it. But come to find out, he didn't do it. I also find out that he's been taking money out of the company unauthorized. I won't get into all that. That'll be part of this lawsuit. I've been hearing stories of bad business being done from all the artists, lack of royalty reporting. So I want to start looking into it. I've been touring really hard, making lots of records for 10 years. So I took a step back and I said, you know what? Things are really weird. You got regime management running out here for years. I'm hearing all kinds of stories from artists. I want to have the books audited by an outside company. So can I please get the books? Basically, I get the runaround. I don't get the books. I get the runaround for months and months and months. I get a lawyer so I could get the books to have the company audited, because I have a liability and a responsibility to the artist on the label, to myself. And fast forward to right now, he puts out this thing that he's given me all the books, everything I've asked for. This is not true. I've hired an auditor that has no agenda. He's an outside auditor that doesn't know the Kottonmouth Kings, doesn't know Kevin Zinger, doesn't know Brad X, to do an audit just to make sure that everything is being done. There's millions of dollars being generated. I want to make sure it's being circulated and redistributed properly. So that's what this is all about. I still haven't gotten all the books. I'm trying to perform this audit on behalf of the artist and myself and clear this up so I can move on in life. You know what I mean? So I've been fired from the company that I started for looking into this. I've been cut off financially. I've been blackballed. I've been slander, whatever you want to call it. But you know what? I'll keep fighting the good fight. So stay tuned. Free the kings. Long live the kings.
And which led to a lot of internal things. You probably, ties into the Pakalika thing being disgruntled, the D-Lo thing, and Kottonmouth King started having internal problems. It was tied into a lot of this, okay? And so, once again, the domain and trademark is still in this motherfucker's name. So I'm like, Kevin, you need to sign. You told me you signed that back over to me. Not to me, to the band. That's the band's property, So it took 2 years behind the scenes trying to get our domain and trademark transferred back to us. And this from our manager and our partner. Now, in the middle of all this, all of a sudden the money stops. Kottonmouth Kings isn't getting any more royalties anymore. You know what I mean? We put out a lot of records. How many records? 25 records, sold over 2 million records. It's not about the money, it's about the principle. What do you mean we're not getting, or the royalties just stopped? You're not paying us? So I started, getting phone calls from the head PEs and all the other bands on the label, because I founded the label and it's in my name, and everyone get hearing the same story. Well, we haven't received royalties, and we haven't got any royalty statements. We haven't done this and that. Same story with everybody, So, and meanwhile, he launches regime management using Suburban Noise funds, Suburban Noise money to start his management company. He's paying for the management company and all these other side bills, merchandise, and all this crazy shit for these other bands he's managing with Suburban Noise's money, with my money, our money. When you're in a partnership, it's a 50-50 partnership. That's like if me and you had a partnership and we were doing a radio show together, and the radio show started making money, and I started going out and buying apartment buildings with the radio show money and cutting you out of it, you'd be like, what the fuck you doing? Not cool. So I look into it, things are getting worse and worse, and there's bad blood, and I go look into the books. I had an accountant that worked at the label, calls me up and says, hey man, I got to quit. There's some not cool shit going down. You need to get your books looked at. So I get my books looked at. Come to find out, he's basically taking money out of the company without my authorization. Large sums of money, Find out people aren't being paid properly. These are huge issues. I found out the trademark's still not in our name. The domain, we finally got transferred over. I go to the dude's house and I say, listen, this is it. We have all these artists. We can't do business anymore like this. We're supposed to be a partnership. You're supposed to be our manager. And I give him the paper again for the trademark. I keep in mind, this is going on 5 years with this bullshit. Dude, sign this paper. This thing's fucking over. And the money you took out of the company, you need to put back and make it right. Do you understand that you can't take money out of this partnership without my authorization? Just like I can't go take money out of the partnership without your authorization. Okay, so fast forward, here we are, 2012, whatever. Things are getting really bad. You got to understand there's a lot of tension. Like, dudes want to, people aren't happy in the band that this dude's been fucking us over like this. So I'm trying to keep the peace, work it out, but it's not getting worked out. So I said, listen, obviously we can't work together anymore. But I need to see the books to verify all these claims from Head PE and from, you know, all these other bands on the label, that Dirtballs and your Big B's and everybody who are claiming they haven't gotten royalty reports in years, you know. I own this label. My obligation is to make sure the artists get paid. It's a record label. You know what I mean? These are my people that I tour with and have personal relationships with. I know their families. I know their kids. You know what I mean? If they're not getting paid properly, that means something to me. I look into it. Find out they're not getting paid properly. So we got to fix this problem. I need the book.
It's crazy. So we got Head PE on there, and I think Head PE had that song for a while. Then he wanted to get everyone on it, and he's like, Jared's down to do all the stuff. So he's part of the King Clique for sure, and we got Mad Child part of it. I've been in the talks with Judge D, Big B, you know, getting some of those dudes are involved. So like the album is not even fully made yet. We got it.
You're not giving me the books. I mean, what do you mean you're not giving me the books? It's my company. I want to see the books. I have an accountant and a business manager, and I want to audit the books. He doesn't give me the books. What the fuck are you hiding? I need to see the books. Everyone has the same story. Everyone said they haven't been paid. I know I haven't been paid. I know Kottonmouth Kings haven't been paid in years. I know you still are fucking holding a trademark in your fucking name like you told me you signed over multiple times. I know SRH hasn't paid us fucking shit. So now you're a liar to me. You're lying to my face. And you're stealing to me. This is what I call stealing. You know what I mean? This is my version. That's my interpretation. You know what I mean? So this is my perspective of what's going down.
And the reason why it fucking went south is because Brad X was running that motherfucker, and he tore this shit apart. And I'm not going to let that happen again, because I own the Kottonmouth Kings. And this is what we doing. So ain't no one going to take that from us on any level. I promise you that. And I'm going to take this shit, bring this shit back from the darkness. I'm going to bring this shit out of the bottom of the depths. When Kottonmouth Kings, everybody thought we was dead, because everybody fucking, Brad X took the music. You know what I'm saying? Brad X, we'll get into that tomorrow, but Brad X, we can talk about it right now. Fuck it, check it out. Brad X, check it out. So, Kevin Zinger and Brad X got in a lawsuit. Sub Noise and Daddy X got in a lawsuit. Daddy X tried to say Kottonmouth Kings was in the lawsuit. Nah, we didn't sign that lawsuit paper. Me and Richter or anybody in the band. It was Brad X signed the lawsuit and wanted to sue Kevin because he thought Kevin was ripping everybody out, but that wasn't the case by any means. Everything was transparent. The real fucking crook was Brad X. That was the real crook. And let me tell you why he's the crook. And you guys are gonna shit your fucking brick when I tell you this shit. I ain't never spoke on it like this, but I'm glad everybody's zipping it. I hope you guys record this. Send this to every stream you can send it to. Brad X, basically, when he got in the lawsuit, he took the catalog of Kottonmouth Kings, everything the Kottonmouth Kings recorded on Sub Noise Records. Brad X ended up getting that in a lawsuit. He took all the Kottonmouth Kings records that we recorded on Sub Noise, not the records we recorded on Capitol Records. Capitol owns the first 4 records of Kottonmouth Kings. Royal Highness, High Society, and so on and so on. Capitol owns those masters. Brad X took every other record we put out besides those 4 records in the lawsuit. Brad X took those records. Me and Richter wrote those records. Numerous people wrote those records, not Brad X. He was a portion of it. But you guys know who the voices were in Kottonmouth Kings. You know me and Richter ran that shit. You guys know who the main motherfuckers were, who wrote all the shit. Positive Vibes, Rest of My Life, Daydream and Phases, Sub Noise Rats, on and on and on and on and on and on. We wrote all that shit, me and Richter, okay? First of all. Anyhow. And to Saint taught me a lot in music, and taught me everything, pretty much everything I know when it comes to writing music and understanding it on some level in the beginning years. He was getting out of a relationship or some shit at the time, so he was like looking for a road dog, and I just happened to become his road dog and sleep on his couch, sleep on his floor, take me to clubs in Hollywood with Pacalica when I was like 21. And then I got to go on tour with him, and he threw me out a song, threw me the microphone, and pretty much like, so the reason why I started getting heavy into him, he'd bring me on tour with them. It was never really the guy known for writing. He was the face and the charismatic character on stage and the good-looking dude that the chicks wanted to fuck and the homies wanted to be homies with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was the face of it. And Judge D, dude, this could be on the record or off the record. I don't give a fuck. But Judge D, dude, wrote a lot of his stuff in the early years. St. Dog wrote mostly all of his stuff.
Of D-Lo?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
That Kingdom Come record, I think that dude Corleone, I heard he wrote 94% of the record.
My legal bills are going up because we're trying to get the books. Still don't have all the books. We have partial books, and the partial books that I have don't look good. I'll just say things are not the way they're supposed to be. On behalf of all the artists and myself, I want to fix this problem. Now, he don't want me to fix this problem because I'm not even going to speculate why he doesn't want to fix the problem. It's pretty simple. Give me the books. Let me verify the artists. Anybody's due money, I want to make sure that they get paid what they're owed. If you take money out of the company, put it back in. We go our separate ways, but it's pretty simple. I've been asking, how do you not give me the books? I'm the owner, I'm the founder of the company, and I can't get the books because you're doing some shady fucking bullshit? I don't get down like that, dude. I'm a man of honor and dignity. I don't steal from people. It's just not in my DNA. And I'm not down to be any part of anything that's like that. You know what I mean? So that's where we're at. We'll file this thing soon. All the facts are there. It'll be free for the public to read. We have a website. All the information will be up there. That's it.
Okay, now one of the things, and again, you've been coming back around talking about the issues that have been having with some of the other artists who haven't been paid. Since this whole story has broken publicly in the last few months, have you had any contact with the other artists still on Subnoise, the Head PE, Potluck, Big B, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, of course. I've had, but my conversation with them are just simply, I just need to know who's. Big B, have you been paid? When's the last time you seen a detailed royalty statement? Wow. Fuck, I didn't know. Thank you. Well, do you mind if I look into it on your behalf? Head PE. Jared, what? You haven't seen a royalty statement in 5 years? That's fucking, what? Why didn't you tell me this before? Okay, well, I'll look into this.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. And again, from one of the things that we had been wondering about in the days and weeks.
You tell me, when the fuck does a manager come out and make a statement? The fuck are you talking about? You're a fucking manager. You're coming out making public statements, trying to fucking do damage control. I mean, it's absurd.
I was going to address Kevin Zinger's public statement. I do have some questions regarding that. But one of the things that I was wondering was that I was curious about when, again, as the days and weeks as this unfolded, why haven't some of the other artists that are still on Subnoise, again, Potluck, Head PE, Big B, why haven't we seen them leaving Subnoise in your footsteps and kind of following suit? Like, I know that myself and a lot of other people, once this broke, were kind of expecting sort of a mass exodus from Subnoise.
Well, let's just say that I'm doing my due diligence. It's called an audit. I want to present the artist with all the facts. It's kind of hard to present them with the facts when my partner won't give me the books. But I have an auditor, and we have a lot of facts, and we're going to get all the facts. And Jared from Head PE, here's a fine example. Jared, months and months ago, this is back fucking in October, he's like, listen, man, I'm not comfortable, I've been paid in 5 years, I just want off the label. I'm all, no problem. He's all, well, Kevin Zinger said, you got to sign the release or I can't get released. I said, send it over to me. You could ask Jared yourself. Call him. I signed the letter and sent it back within 5 minutes. Of course, dude. Of course you don't want to be there. I understand. You haven't been paying 5 years. I won't want to be here. Here's your release, Jared. Thank you for everything you've done for us, dude. It's been amazing. You've been a great band to tour with, to have on the label. It's been an honor working with you. Thank you for everything you've done. I signed the release. He sends it back over to Kevin Zinger. Kevin doesn't sign that shit. Kevin tries to hold him hostage.
Okay.
He sends him some crazy contract saying that he can't make any claims. All this will come out, dude. All this stuff will come. All the the artists will come out and speak when it's time. You know what I mean? But I've asked him not to until we file this lawsuit.